Today we're going to be unboxing a very exciting product. This is the EVGA GeForce GTX 580. That is 100 more than the 480. It's actually not 100 more because it's difficult to quantify a graphics card in terms of a numerical value other than, well, I guess FPS. But there's features too, so bear that in mind. So let's get this guy out of his packaging and have a look. So this is the latest and greatest from NVIDIA. This is actually the replacement for the relatively short-lived GTX 480. And I guess you could say it's more of an evolutionary change than a revolutionary change because we do have still a very similar feature set. So we've got support for 2-way SLI, 3-way SLI, DirectX 11, PhysX, 3D Vision Surround. We have 1.5 gigs of graphics memory. So stop me if any of that sounds familiar. But one of the big improvements that we're making with this card over the GTX 480 is the fact that we've improved the power consumption. Okay, so that is less power consumption. We've improved the heat output, that is less heat output, and we've also improved the performance, so that is more performance. So it's what the GTX 480 is, except better, better, and better in every way. So here is an overall key feature list. 2-way, 3-way, and pardon me, 4-way SLI is also supported on select motherboards. We've got full support for NVIDIA's CUDA initiative, that is using your graphics card to do complex computational equations such as folding at home or video rendering. All right, here we have a little note about connecting your GTX 580 to the power supply. Next, we have a graphics card user guide. Okay, which is probably, feels very short, as well as a quick start guide. All right, there we go. Shows you how to plug in your power, shows you where the SLI connector is. Well, we don't need to look at this because we have a real card to look at. Next, we've got an EVGA driver / software installation disk, as well as a powered by EVGA sticker. So throw that away, download the latest off the NVIDIA website. You've heard me say that before. And let's have a look at the accessories that are included with this card. So first of all, we have a dual Molex to 6-pin PCI Express connector. Next, we have a dual 6-pin PCI Express connector to PCI Express 8-pin connector. Finally, we have a mini HDMI to HDMI connector. And then we have a DVI to VGA connector. So with all of the adapters that are included, you could theoretically be running this off some ancient power supply that doesn't have proper support for it on some ancient VGA monitor that probably doesn't deserve such a great graphics card powering it. But I'm sure most of you are going to be running this with the recommended power supply, which actually, whoops. Oh, cool. Hey, we found something else inside here. I'm sorry. Here, let's check this out. So it looks like this card actually comes with an EVGA poster. Check that out. EVGA Gaming. You want that on your wall? Look at that. EVGAgaming.com. I can't actually quite tell what this is a picture of, but it's a skull. And then there appears to be like some car parts attached to it. Oh, it's some kind of like robot thing with a skull on the top of it. Either way, that's pretty cool. So you get a poster with your video card. Neato. All right, well, we'll put that away. Actually, here, why don't we do a quick contest around this poster? So I want you guys to, let me see. I'll come up with something arbitrary. Like, I want you to tell me what you would name that skeleton guy. And whatever name I like the best, I will send you the poster. Done. All right, so let's, actually, right, I wanted to check out the minimum system requirements in terms of power supply. So here, so EVGA is recommending a 600 watt or greater power supply with a minimum of 42 amps on the 12 volt rail. Okay, and other than that, it's all fairly standard stuff. And let's just have a look at, what else we had on here. Oh, right, yeah, EVGA does some bragging on the outside of this box, which I also wanted to talk about, and so they should. #1 seller of NVIDIA-based products in the US. #1 in reliability and service, and that is in a survey that was conducted in 2010. #1 performance leader in 3D Mark Vantage, as well as the #1 folding at home team in the world. Those are certainly some points that are worth bragging about. So now let's have a look at the GTX 580 itself. This isn't a reference card, so that means that EVGA has customized the look and feel of the card itself. And Probably not much else, although EVGA does have many custom cards that they do where they use different coolers, or they actually overclock the stock frequency of the card past what NVIDIA's specification is, and they'll give you a lifetime warranty on that as well. That's one of the other really cool things about EVGA is their lifetime warranty. So let's do a quick tour of the card. First of all, we've got our fan here. So that fan spins, blows the air out the back of your case. This is a rear exhaust design on this card. So that means that you're not going to have to worry about the heat being expelled into your case and then having to use hot air to cool the card itself. Although we are going to lose a little bit of it out the top here. That's probably to decrease the restriction of the cooling mechanism so that we can exhaust some out here if we absolutely have to. And same goes down at the bottom. We have a standard Sorry about that, guys. Battery died. So standard PCI Express 2.0 16X slot. Let's move around. Let's see if there's anything else interesting on the bottom of the card. It doesn't really look like it. So let's move around to the back of the card. So here you can see the GF110. That is the code name of the GPU that powers the GTX 580. So that's where it's mounted on the PCB. You can see the power delivery system is all over on this side. You can also see where the memory modules are mounted around the outside of the GPU so that you got nice short PCB traces, so it can communicate very quickly with that memory. Here is the two SLI connectors that are required for two-way. You only need one. Three-way as well as four-way SLI. And last but not least, let's have a look at the top of the card where we have our PCI Express 6-pin as well as our PCI Express 8-pin power connectors. And then let's move around to the back where finally we have two DVI outputs as well as that one mini HDMI, which EVGA kindly provides a mini HDMI to standard HDMI output so that you can make proper use of it. So thank you for checking out my unboxing of the GTX 580. Don't forget to check out my other launch day coverage of this exciting new GPU from NVIDIA, and don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips.